Hello, lovely souls. Welcome back to the Awakening to Your Soul Self podcast. I'm Christina, certified angel messenger, angel Reiki master teacher, and automatic writing guide. In asking God, Universe, Source what I could do for the next episode, I instantly heard and felt oneness. And you might be saying, aren't you always in oneness? I try to be in oneness all the time, especially when I'm trying to connect with God, Universe, Source, and my angels. But I could feel oneness just like a little bit extra, like kind of a little bit sparkly, if that makes any sense. And I am beginning to create a oneness course to teach you all how to get into oneness, how to hold and stay into oneness. And this morning I went to pull an angel card from Hal Gray's Angel Guide Oracle deck. I don't use cards during my readings, but sometimes I use them for myself for extra validation. And the card that I asked God, Universe, Source, what should this podcast episode be? And it's so funny how spirit works. It holds raise your vibration, which is exactly what oneness is. It's raising your vibration to the highest frequency there is, the highest vibration there is. I thought that was really funny and really aligned. That's exactly what this episode should be. So if you're new to my podcast, I'll give you a quick little background on how I got here. So my journey began in spring 2022 when I kept coming home from work as a tech support specialist. And I said, God, Universe, Source, I love my job. I just don't feel like that's my purpose anymore. That was my purpose for that time period. What is my purpose now? So every time I came home from work, I'd look up at the sky and just say, God, what is my purpose? I feel like I'm here to do something bigger, like tech support. And I was cleaning my room, doing my spring cleaning, and I usually play music in the background as I don't like to kind of be in quietness. My thoughts get a little too loud. So I kept hearing, put on a podcast, put on a podcast. Mind you, how your intuition works, it's your own voice, it's your own inner dialect. And it just felt different now. It was quiet, almost like a whisper. And I said, why do I want to do that? I've never listened to a podcast before. I'm kind of a music girl. And I just kind of went with my intuition and I opened up the podcast app, Apple Podcasts, which I hid from my phone because I was like, I'm never going to use this. And I typed in angels or spirit. And I just remember seeing Teresa Caputo's and I'm like, oh my God, that's so cool. But I've like watched all her episodes. I feel like the podcast is going to be something similar. So I went to I believe the next one down, and it was Angels and Awakening by Julie Jancis. And I was like, let me try this. I've never really dove into angels at all. I kept watching medium shows and it was all about loved ones. And every time I would watch, it'd be like, that'd be so cool to have those gifts. I want those gifts one day. But I just never assumed that I would have them. So in listening to Julie's podcast, light bulb moment just happened. I'm just like, this is what God led me to. This is what was part of my purpose. I kept asking and they kind of gave it to me. Right. So I kept listening to her podcast. Eventually found a YouTube channel and I was kind of listening to the podcast while watching her. I'm a visual person, so sometimes seeing a conversation is better than just hearing it for me. And I kept listening, kept listening. I ordered her book. I was still unsure that I had gifts, and I didn't want to really tell anybody that this was what I was kind of doing, looking into. And at night, I would go up and read her book, try her exercises. And I was listening to other podcast interviews she was doing. I don't know if it was May or if it was an old episode. She was on Psychic Stories podcast and she offered like a 7-day free trial of her angel membership for anybody that listened to that episode. And I did that. And I heard that whisper again. Join her membership. You're going to really develop your gifts. You're going to find out what you're meant to do. Join her membership. And I just was like, should I? Like, maybe I'm just making up the energy that I was feeling reading her book and doing her free trial membership and listening to podcasts. And I kept hearing it. And I was like, you know what? I'll just do the 1 year and see where it takes me. So I believe it was probably around Memorial Day time. I said, okay, I'm just going to do it because I kept hearing it over and over and over again on that day. So I signed up. And then at night, I'd go up and do her membership. I was still too afraid to do her live courses. So I just watched them playbacks. And I just was like, this is it. This This is leading me to my purpose. It just feels aligned. And then I joined her Angel Reiki school to really hone into my gifts and eventually want to develop them so I could provide services to others. What the meat of the foundation is that oneness. What is oneness? Oneness is God, universe, source's energy, the highest vibration there is, the highest frequency. It's also raising your vibration so that your angels can connect with you. Everybody on the other side, everybody in heaven, have the highest vibration there is. As being on earth, hold a lower vibration. Certain emotions hold a lower vibration. Certain emotions hold a higher vibration. And I just remember reading her book, and it has the oneness meditation in there. And I was reading it, and I was trying to imagine it, and I was having a hard time reading and imagining. So I found her oneness meditation. I think it was like episode 3 or something. And I was listening to it, and I was trying to imagine the energy flowing from the ground all the way up my body. And I had a really hard time. So I just kept listening to it over and over and over again. I kept listening. And eventually I made kind of my own version, very, very similar to hers. But some words just weren't aligning. So I just switched some of them. So I recorded myself doing it and I would play it. And then eventually I memorized it. And I wasn't like seeing the energy come up my body. I was really feeling the warm, tingling energy flowing up my body, flowing over my chakras, outside my body to the auric field. And what God Universe says is however you experience oneness is exactly how you're supposed to experience it. We each have unique gifts. And as you're starting out, some gifts might be stronger than others. For me, I've always been a feeler. I could always feel the energy in the room, feel the energy off of people. And as I started to hone in my gifts, I really could feel the energy. Like once I really understood the oneness meditation and I created my own, I could really feel the energy flowing up my body, surrounding my body. And this was also in help of taking her courses in the Angel Reiki school, feeling other people's energy. And then I started to develop the hearing, which hindsight is 2020. I've always really heard it because I remember I was saying in the spring, I was hearing thoughts. And that's kind of how clairaudience works, is that you hear your thoughts. You hear spirits whispers. For me, I hear it mainly on my right ear area. When it's kind of my own thoughts, it's kind of up here. And it sounds a little different. It's a little bit louder than a spirit whispers. So I have a channeled message here from God Universe Source. So, beautiful soul, we are so excited to begin this two-way communication with you. I've given you the freedom of free will so that you can make your own decisions and choose your own paths that you want to take in this lifetime. You have many, many paths for you to take, but you all have a divine path. No matter how many left turns you take, they're always trying to nudge you, guide you back to your path. If you're thinking, what is my divine path? Am I on it? Yes, you're on the right path, divine path. And it's all in divine timing that you're back on your path. If you're thinking, what is divine timing? This right here, in this moment, reading this channeling or listening to this channeling, you are in the moment of divine timing. You know it's divine timing because you could have chosen to listen to this podcast today, last week, the week before, but you didn't. You chose it now, in the present moment, for your journey to begin, to discover communication with us, to discover the power of oneness. You might have felt a nudge or curiosity to look into or want to be the spirit in the spiritual realm. Or maybe this is a new feeling for you. Either way, this course that's eventually going to develop is for you now. We've helped Cristina channel this course with love and with oneness energy. Everyone has different learning styles, which is why you can come back to this episode. Honestly, that's what Cristina did when she took a similar course the first couple of times. While she took it and realized that she needed to take it at her own speed and take it slowly by really getting into the practice and the habit of getting and holding oneness. You too can get into oneness with ease and hold it with ease. Just takes practice. And beautiful soul, you will be able to have many conversations with us, understand the signs and messages that we're sending you, actually receive them. Being a human in a human world with a society, so many times we've sent messages and they come back as coincidences or not messages or signs. Learning oneness, when you get a sign or a message, you can ask us for clarification or more information. You are ready to step into your spiritual awakening or your spiritual journey. This will launch you into learning and tapping into your spiritual gifts that you might have not known you had. We are with you every step of the way, cheering you on, rooting for you, even on the days when you might doubt that you have held oneness or have gotten into oneness. You can do this. Think about oneness like this. By the way, I love this quote. Oneness is like oneness is like tuning the radio dial to get to your favorite radio station. Once you find out how to turn that dial, at what angle, you can hear the radio clearly, just like us. Once you figure out how you can get and hold into oneness, you'll be able to hear this clearly, using your spiritual gifts, using any of your clairsenses. Lovely souls, we just ask that you don't let the egoic mind, the monkey mind, get in the way of getting into oneness. Trust yourself. Trust what you receive and how you feel when you're in oneness. It's like learning to ride a bike. Once you learn, you can never forget. That's the way to think about oneness. Once you get into it once, you'll never forget. Getting into oneness will be a part of you. You're stretching that spiritual muscle. It's just like if you were stretching a physical muscle in your body. For example, if you're training for a marathon, you would stretch and train your body to do so. It's the same concept as oneness in communication with us. You need to practice getting and holding oneness so that you can learn to communicate with us. You've got this. Keep going. Everyone can get into oneness. Wow, friends. I know that was a long channeled message, but it just kind of brings a different perspective and it holds a different energy. So another channeled message that I received actually yesterday, I think, when I was writing for this course, take it one day at a time. Feel the energy of oneness within your body and soul. You can do it. Everything takes time. Be patient with yourself, just as if you were talking to your inner child. You wouldn't want to get set at a child or in your child because you couldn't do something on the first try. Remember that for yourself. Take this with ease and be gentle with yourself. We will be with you the second you get into oneness, reminding you that we are with you, that you can do this. You chose to get into oneness and learn about oneness with your free will, to begin to strengthen your communication with us. Celebrate that you've stuck to this. That isn't a victory of itself. Focus on taking this day by day, and by the end, you will be amazed at yourself on how you too can get into oneness on command. As 2020 kind of changed the energy for me, and it felt very airy, feel ease and calm. That universe source was saying, take 5 minutes of your lunch break and automatic write with us. We have some messages that we need to get out. So these next two messages are about oneness connection and how there are many different ways to connect with us. My way is through oneness, raising my vibration. There are other ways, and God Universe Source wants me to bring that through. I put them on social media as well as carousels. I don't feel like that has enough profound energy, profound oneness. Social media sometimes has this kind of lower vibration energy. So sometimes, even though I'm breaking through high vibrational messages, high vibrational energy, I don't feel like it has the same kind of how that if I were to read the channel messages, they have a better impact. So this message was channeled on 1/14/2026. I promise it's a little bit of a shorter message. So I hope you're still listening because these messages are really for you to understand how you too can connect into oneness. You too can channel these messages. For me, I just happen to channel messages easier by automatic writing, which I'm going to do another episode and course about this, is where you get into oneness, you get into the high vibrational state, and you just let the pen kind of take over the page. Not doodling, just anything you hear, feel, see, get a knowingness of, you just write it down. You don't edit, you just go. Eventually, I think in March, I'm going to do automatic writing lives with you all, where I get you all into oneness, and either God Universe Source will hold a prompt, or we can just have like a free for all, God, what do you need us to know today? And channel that out. So this is from God Universe Source. Everyone connects with us differently, whether through meditation, automatic writing, movement, sound healing, music, journaling, visualization, or mindfulness. Whatever way you connect with us is right for you. Whatever might work for one might not work for another. That's why we've sent so many different people, healers, teachers, and creators to create all different types of healing modalities and techniques. Every day, someone is searching for connection, searching for purpose, their path, their way to connect. Now, granted, not every way has been put out there yet, but it will one day. Healers, spiritual teachers, and creators need to put out what they've created into the world for people to experience. They might find that people who align with that modality or technique. Don't be afraid to say, hey, I don't experience what you experience. So this is another channeled meditation from 116, and it's kind of really focused on music and the arts as being a way of meditation, getting into oneness, which for me, I never thought of it this way until I started doing the podcast, and really when this profound message really hit me. So in the spring and summertime last year, I would go out in the deck. I would find my family's old flower pots, and I would just repaint them just for the heck of it. Something different, something creative, and because I do have such a technical background, I need to do something for a creative outlet. And I found that when I was out in nature, I could feel and hold oneness way better. I think it's just the connection of nature and all the energies that are in nature. So I started to do these pots, and I found that I could quiet my mind easier. I could do the automatic writing way better after getting into that calm state. I could hear downloads, see the visions with ease. So in the warmer months, I'll actually go outside and meditate or automatic write. There's something about being in the sun with sunscreen and protection, feeling the wind, hearing the birds and the animals that just ground you almost just as much as the oneness meditation. So depending where you are on Earth, if you can go outside and just connect for 5 minutes, feel the difference. Let me know. So this channel message was from 116, 2026. It's about music and the arts. Music is a powerful way of connection, whether it's in the lyrics, the story within the song, the story of how the song was created, the sounds, instruments, the vocals. Music is a way of connection and communication. Ever feel like a song was made or written for you? Ever get goosebumps or feel the emotion within the song? Music and the arts are a way of the angels and loved ones to connect with you, whether it's your loved one's favorite song, and when it plays, you automatically think of them, or whether it's the lyrics that are a message from your angels. When you listen to music or specific song, do you have a flashback of a memory of a time when you were with your loved ones? Know that it's your loved one with you in that specific moment when the song is playing, whether you purposely put on the song, hear it on the radio, or while you're in the store. That's them sending a message that they are okay and with you. Sometimes it's also trying to send you validation about something that's on your heart. Music throughout the years has been sent through songwriters and singers. Some have been channeled as messages within songs needed to be put out in the world to deliver messages. Lady Gaga is an example of having songs that were intuitively downloaded to be put out into the world. Many other songwriters and singers have channeled or intuitively written and produced songs that have powerful messages. Now, in the beginning of the podcast, I said that I always play music when I'm cleaning and just doing other things because I don't like to be in complete quietness. Music for me, the lyrics really have to connect with me. I mean, the sound is always great too. I always think back of this memory driving home from work last year, and I usually go the same route all the time. And I got to these set of lights, and I heard, don't go straight like you always do. Go to the right. And I'm like, I don't want to take the longer road. I've had a long day. They're like, trust me, just go. And if I didn't take that long route, I would have not heard, I don't remember what the song is. I have it on my Instagram, that the lyrics just hit my heart. And I felt like it was a message from my angels saying, it's going to be okay. You are stronger than this. Keep going. Don't let the self-doubt get you. Also, Spirit is saying, when you hear a song that reminds you of them, don't cough it up to coincidence. You might be saying, why is that song playing on the radio? That song is, I've never heard that song on the radio. That's because it's for you. It's a message for you from your loved ones. Okay. So my personal growth through oneness was really learning to hold it on command and just saying, God, universe, source, I want to be in your energy. I want to be in oneness. And I just automatically feel the warmth. I will admit, sometimes I like to go through the whole 15-minute meditation and really feeling the energy flowing through my body, covering my chakras, glowing my chakras, pouring and out of my body. And sometimes I just ask, sometimes I just imagine the roots going deep and wide into the earth, connecting with the oneness, warm, tingly energy, and that will be enough. So as you learn the oneness, find your way of connection, whether it's you creating your own oneness meditation, listening to it to help you get into it, saying it yourself. Maybe you need to be doing something to get into oneness. It could be yoga, it could be mindful walking, or the arts, painting, drawing. Spirit recently showed me people drawing or painting what they feel when they're in oneness, or while the oneness meditation is playing. I thought that was a really cool concept of not only getting the creative energies out, because Archangel Gabrielle loves to help you be creative and really tune into that creative energy, but to take what's up here in your imagination out onto paper or canvas or whatever your form of art is. For me, I don't find myself very creative, but I want to do creative things. I've done embroidery that didn't last very long. I've done crochet that didn't last very long. Flower pot paintings. I just haven't found the right creative outlet for me yet. But I love just playing and just seeing what works and what doesn't. And that's the same thing with connecting with the God universe source. You just gotta find what works for you. And by learning and getting to learn and hold oneness, you're beginning a new relationship with your past loved ones and this new way of connecting with the rest of your spirit team. I've heard people say, well, when my loved ones pass away, the relationship is over. It's not. You develop this new language with them. Have you ever had a dream visitation with them and their lips aren't moving? It's because they're communicating with you telepathically through oneness energy. I talk to my loved ones all the time. I suggest people to just talk to them, whether it's verbally out loud or through your thoughts or through journaling. When I first was learning oneness in automatic writing, one of the first things Julie had us do was write a letter to a loved one and then watch them write it back. It was profound. Just let the pen write. Don't edit, just write, and see and then read it back. Now, we all have egoic mind. We all have that monkey mind that's doubting everything that we're doing. I watched Inside Out 2 last year when the angel said, put this movie on. There's a message in there for you. I think I posted this a couple times on Instagram because it makes so much sense to my brain. I love Disney movies. I find that there are so many profound messages in there. And in Inside Out 2, it's about this teenage girl who's dealing with her emotions and developing new emotions as you get older. And the main character is Joy. And then there's other emotions. The one we're going to focus on is anxiety. The God universe source and the angels were like, joy is your soul self, your higher self, and your spirit team. It's kind of energy. Anxiety is like your egoic mind. It's trying to protect you from everything. And as you'll see in Instagram, I kind of go deeper into this and kind of explaining the differences. Joy is this quiet whisper getting you to your higher self. Egoic mind is putting these doubts. We need to shift the thinking of listening to that egoic mind and coming back to our soul-centered awareness, coming back to our soul self, connecting to that oneness. Your angels will never leave you, even if you ask them to. They are your support for eternity, lifetime after lifetime. They understand how hard it is to be in Earth School. I remember when I was first learning my gifts, there was one night that I couldn't connect. I couldn't feel anything here. And I just started crying in my room. I just was like, why do I have these gifts if I don't know how to use them? And I've never felt this again. I mean, maybe I have, but not to this extent, where I've just felt Archangel Michael wrap his wings and his arms around me. And I just said, Archangel Michael, I want to do this work, but I don't know what I'm doing. I don't think I have these gifts. I think you have the wrong person. And he just sat there with me and he just said, no, you were tapped. You were here to serve. And I said, I regret this all the time. But I said, Archangel Michael, just please leave me alone. I can't right now. And he didn't leave until I finally calmed down and I was like, okay, what's my next step? And that just proves that your angels will really never, ever leave you. Even if you don't always follow their guidance, which I've done like a million times. Don't follow the breadcrumbs. They always find other ways to connect with you. So if meditation is not a way, there's another way. And that's what I love about oneness energy, is that it comes in so many different forms. That you just got to find what works for you. Or maybe it's starting out by learning the oneness meditation, learning to feel that energy and what that feels like, and use it with something else. So I feel like this episode um, is kind of a broad aspect of the oneness course. When you're in a state of oneness, when you're in that feeling of oneness, you're in God's energy. You are in love energy. We're all made up of love. We can all come into this frequency and this energy. Your angels are calling you back home, back to your soul self, to the pure energy of love. Friends, don't be afraid of getting into oneness. It's the best energy there is. Getting into oneness is coming back home, coming back to your soul self. In this oneness meditation, I always imagine myself on my home on the other side. Yes, we all have homes on the other side, and they are just radiating oneness energy. I feel like I kind of rambled through this episode, but there were just so many messages that God has been giving me lately about connection, about oneness, that I needed to share with you today. Friends, if you can let me know, how do you connect into oneness? How do you get there? Friends, you are loved. God, your spirit team, your loved ones love you. Thank you for listening to today's episode. Have a great day.